Welcome, welcome, welcome to another exciting episode of Wind Down with Kev. I'm Kevin Spann, the founder and host of Wind Down with Kev. And today we begin with an attitude of gratitude. Thank you and you and you, and especially those of you that have hit the notifications button and subscribed to our podcast. You are appreciated. Big thanks to my sponsors. You'll see their names, their logo popping up behind me. Let's start with Carol Media. For those of you that are trying to get their name, their brand out there in this social media space, look no further than Carol Media. Next, I must acknowledge and thank Canopy Connect. Canopy Connect. If you're looking to make the experience of buying and selling insurance easier for you and your customers, reach out to Canopy Connect. They've made the whole process so digital, so easy, so user-friendly. Check them out. Thank me later. And last but definitely not least, thank you to Wintrust Financial, my bank partner. Without the money, this is not possible. Okay, today, travel with me on our 50 podcast with 50 agents from 50 different states. Today, we journey to the largest state in the country, one of my favorite states that I've visited a few times, and we are going to podcast with a wonderful agent. This agent has been serving her community for over 25 years. She's been in the business for over 10 years. She's an award-winning agent. She's an elite agent. Not only does she own and operate her own agency, she's also the founder and president of Remote Labs, an additional company that she started to help many agents with the journey of the hybrid world that we work in, having remote staff and doing many other things. That being said, put your warm Wind Down with Kev hands together and let's give a warm welcome to Carly Pickard.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Man, what an introduction. I wish I could hear that like once a month. It's such a boost.
Well, we are recording this and you could play it back as often as you need. The affirmation to feel good about everything. Carly, thank you so much for joining me. So happy to have you here. It's been a few months since I saw you. Last year, I got to hang out with you, have dinner with you and your family. So before we start the podcast, please say hello to Troy and to your lovely daughter.
Oh, yeah.
My absolute best. And if we could go to our wider screen team, I still see the smaller version. That would be great for us to be able to view ourselves. Thank you for the full screen. Awesome, awesome, awesome. How is California treating you? And please tell me where Redding, California is relative to all the action around the country with the California wildfires.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That's a huge topic right now, right? Insurance in California. Okay, so I have my primary location in Redding, California, and we are at the top of the state. We're about 2 hours from the Oregon border. I have two locations technically, and one of them is fully remote. So I rolled one of my agencies up to my primary, and we service the whole state. So California is the largest state, and we're actually the 5th largest economy in the world. I think we might have just moved to the number 4 spot. So we really are a huge piece of the pie when it comes to insurance here in the United States. But I really look at our agency as servicing the entire state. I have customers all the way up at the top of the border, all the way down to the bottom, and employees everywhere in between. And I think the other question you asked is, what's going on in our state with fire insurance? It's a hot topic. I'm actually next week, I spend 2 days at the Capitol with lawmakers, just kind of, talking about how the insurance environment is affecting our customers and what can be done about it. We're really in the middle of a huge shift. What are we going to do, right? How
Yes.
are we going to keep our customers able to afford insurance? There's a lot of talk out here about, well, if my house is paid off, maybe I won't pay for insurance anymore.
No.
I know it's horrible to hear. But a lot of our customers are coming to a spot where there's no options left. They can't afford what's being offered through the FAIR plan. Yeah.
That's amazing. You said a lot in that opening answer. So let me first start by saying thank you for your service. Thank you for going beyond your agencies, plural, going beyond the additional business that you lead with remote labs to take time out of your day, away from your family, away from your business, to go to the Capitol to address the issues and to help inform the legislators that it's affecting the customers because
Yeah.
being in the largest state and the fifth largest economy, hey, this is important.
It really is, and I mean, we're definitely a state that has so many different environmental hazards that could happen. Right? It's not just about the fires, but we have floods as well and earth movement, and so it's a hot topic. I know we're not the only state out there with issues, but there's millions of people being affected by it. And so to be able to go to the Capitol next week and be a part of the conversation, be a part of the positive change is really going to be cool. I look forward to it.
Well, thank you, and for all that you do to be a part of the conversation. I like the words that you use. You said earth movement. You didn't say earthquake. Those of us outside of California, everyone has a love for California, but there may be people like me that may fear living there one day because of earthquakes. That's kind of a unique thing. It happens in other places, but more so in California.
Right. It's like pick your natural disaster, right? I work with so many agents across the country, and I could be talking to an agent in Louisiana and maybe they have a hurricane coming in and right, their office closes for 3 days and they've got all kinds of claims. And I would fear something like that, right? Um, it really we are a large state. It really depends on where you live. A lot of the state has smaller tremors, if you will, but up where we are, where I live, I actually live right near Sacramento. We
Okay.
do really worry about fire. It's the thing that's always present, and I mean, it doesn't matter if it's November. We're still worried about fire, and there's no simple resolution. It's not like, hey, trim the trees and clean up the leaves. We have massive forest land here in our state.
I love it. California literally goes from the top of the United States, from the most northern point to the most southern point. And thank you for mentioning Sacramento. Troy texted me a picture from the Sacramento Kings New
Yeah.
York Knicks games a few weeks ago. I think he was there with your son. So shout out to the
Yeah.
Sacramento Kings and definitely to Troy again. So,
Yeah.
Carly, one question I've asked everyone: what do you love about being an all-state agent?
Oh my gosh. What do I love about being an Allstate agent? I mean, there's so many things. I've actually worked with Allstate since I was 19. I started when I was going to college. I'm in my 40s now, but I think, the thing I love the most maybe is all the people that I've been able to employ, and all the
Yes.
customers we've been able to protect. Really, my heart has always been with the people. I really kind of pride myself into making a great environment for people to work and have advancement. And I mean, we've had clients who've been with our agency's family name for 40 years. So
Nice.
it's all about the people. That's what I love the most.
I love it. And you said something that hasn't been said on the podcast before. So I want to dig in a little bit. You talked about our ability to create jobs for people
Yeah.
and advancement. So paint a picture, if you will, of the journey of from getting newly licensed and being able to get a job with your agency and what that career path looks like. Where can they go from newbie to where could they be in maybe 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, for sure. Well, one of the primary reasons I have a heart for that is because that's where I started, right? Like I've swept the floors of agencies, I've taken the payments and the phone calls, and I've cold called out of the yellow pages. That's how old I am. So for me, when I hire somebody, I really want them to know that I'm blessed to be a part of their personal journey. I always let them know that. Like, thank you for letting me in with your personal journey. But hey, this is where you can go. And so, if they come in and they're newly licensed and they're learning how to sell, I do have room for sales trainers. Remote Labs, my company, we have sales trainers across the country. So I've had people who've started with me, maybe in service, advanced to sales. Maybe they told me they wanted to be a sales trainer, roll them into the Remote Labs platform there, so they come licensed and experienced, ready to be sales trainers in Remote Labs. And I'm really proud to say that I've had people come through my agency and say, hey, I want to do what you do. I want to know an agency one day. And so I've helped people, own their own agency. So I'm really proud of that as well.
I love that. I love the picture that you paint, that it's not a dead end deal. I'm always such an advocate for our industry across the world. Many people think of real estate as the sexy profession. It looks good on TV. It has a lot of reality shows. We don't have that, but insurance is wonderful. It's slow, it's steady, it's consistent, and you can create a pretty nice life for yourself.
Yeah, you can. I mean, we could have a reality show, Kevin. There's enough in there to have a reality show. But, it is, I always think about the analogy of the tortoise and the hare. And
Yes.
I love being the tortoise. And
Yes.
I know there's people out there who love being in the hare, and they're great at it. And they're, quick adventure and opportunity and fast money. I'm all about, just chipping away at something, whether it's my career or somebody else's. I believe in education. So people who work with or for me, I pay for education. They take courses through companies like Maven, and we do reviews. We run, a 15, 30, 60, 90-day review, and then they roll into a quarterly review process. One of the main questions that's on there is, what do you want to learn next? Like,
Nice.
how can we invest in your education? Where do you want to go in your career? So it's not just us reviewing them, but it's really them telling us where they want to go, and us helping them along the way.
I love that question. What do you want to learn next? One
Mhm.
of my core values is to have a never stop learning environment. With
Yeah.
all my time in the industry, I tell anyone the first day that I think I'm going to rest on my laurels of what I know so far, 30 days from that day, it'll be the beginning of my end. This industry changes a lot. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, fair enough. The industry itself, insurance, is always changing. And how about industry around us right now, right? Like, you have to learn to earn right now. That's my saying. Learn to earn, never stop learning. And in the middle of this AI revolution that we're in, we should all be so excited to learn, right? So we really invest in that. Yeah.
I love it. You said AI revolution. That's not on
Mhm.
my cue card, but that's my sweet spot. That's my conversation point. So, where are you in the AI revolution? What are you doing so far? And what are you learning right now about AI?
Yeah, I mean, what am I not learning, right? The deep learning inside of GPTs is where we're at. I really do use AI for my companies that I have.
Yes.
God forbid somebody get into my chat GPT. It knows all about the companies that I run. I have 3 of them actually. And it's helped me create so much process inside of my companies that's helped us advance. I encourage everybody who works inside of my company, especially my leadership teams, to use AI and continually train it about their role with our company and how we can become better. And I'm constantly listening to podcasts. I do a lot of driving. It's one thing about California. We are a state of drivers, man. We'll hop in the car and drive 3 hours is not a big deal. We'll have lunch. We'll see our mother, hop in the car and drive home. And so lots of time on the road to listen to podcasts. So always learning, new things about AI.
I love it. And
Mhm.
what I say to people, people are looking for AI experts, but I think the AI journey is personal and private. I think you're going to go where your companies and where your ventures are going to take you. I think I'm going to go in my destiny. Um, the one mistake I think people are making is that they're using Chat GPT like Google, and they think they're cool because they can search for something. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, well, my first thought is if people are using it, I mean, that's great. Good
Yeah.
for you for starting your personal journey, but you gotta get in there and kinda do some deep learning in there, create different processes for your company. Tell it about your company, have it create your own brand and voice. And from there, it can do so much with and for you. I mean, work with it as if it's the smartest employee on your team, right?
Yes.
That's really what you should be doing. And then there's all kinds of different GPTs that you can be using. I know even some of the software that some of you are already using has AI embedded in it, and maybe you're just not aware. But we use Canva a lot through my companies. We're also using software like HubSpot. It has
Yes.
AI embedded in it. Another software that we love, I don't know if you love it yet or are using it, but is Asana.
Yes.
Yeah, Asana is a great software program as well. But yeah, I mean, I agree. AI and where people are with it, it's unique and it should be private. Like I said, God forbid anybody opened up my Chat GPT to see what was in there. I mean, it's anything and everything, and taking it further, looking at it as if it's an additional team member within your company.
No, I love it. I have
Mhm.
an AI first mindset. I'm looking at it all day, every day, in every venture, every company that I own to make sure it's leading its own way. So we jumped right into the business. I shouted out Troy and your daughter, and mentioned your son. Please acknowledge your entire family before I go further in the business. And I take this opportunity away from you being able to do that.
Yeah, sure. Troy and I have a mixed family here. So we have two teenagers.
Yes.
One is 14 and the other is 16. So those are boys. They are heavily immersed in sports. Like they love basketball, they love football. Of course, our household is fans of the Kings. So we
Yes.
we have the pleasure of going to the Kings games, which is really cool. And my our daughter Riley, she's 20 and she is a world traveler, man. She spent she spend almost 3 months last year in South America, and
Wow.
she came home and touched down for a little bit. I think we had dinner with you guys, and
Yes.
she did some assistant work for our companies, and then now she's over in Asia. She's been in Bali, she's been in the Philippines, all through the islands there. And she was set up to go to Vietnam, but I think she's chosen to go back to Bali because she loved Bali so much. So we really are just encouraging travel, get out there and see the world. There's all different ways to be educated these days, and right into college first off is not for everybody. So if travel is the first step, that's what we're doing.
No, I love it. And I think travel is the best form of education in the world.
I
If
do
you want
too.
to learn history, you want to learn culture, go to that place, see how the people live, get into it. They have a way of life that's admirable. So shout out to Riley for doing what she's doing and carving out her own journey. I don't believe that our children, whatever age, the life they're going to live may not exist yet, right? So who
Right.
are we to put them into a box that looks like what we think is comfortable or is the path. So
Yeah.
you've got Riley, you've got the teen boys,
Hmm.
um, Sacramento King game. What
Yeah.
else do you guys do for fun? I know we had a lot of adventurous conversations. I know we promised each other we get together as families and create some fun memories. So what are you guys doing for fun out there?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty active when we can be. I mean, if you're talking about just like a regular weekday, what are we doing? The weather right now in California is gorgeous. It's the
Nice.
best time of year. Everything's green right now. We're in like the high 70s, low 80s. So it's barbecue season for us. So we're like out back every night, barbecuing. We put a badminton net out there, and people
Nice.
can't put it down. It's kind of fun. So we really love sports. We play pickleball out here. So we
Yes.
hit up the club and play some pickleball. And winter's over now, but we usually love to snowboard all winter.
Wow, wow. Now,
Yep.
people are wondering, people have a perception of California being 70 year round. Where do you go to snowboard?
So we live in such a cool area. So right here in the Sacramento area, we're about, I mean, not even 2 hours. We're like an hour and a half from Tahoe, which
Nice.
is like a ski and snowboard mecca. People come from all over the world. All five of us snowboard together, believe it or not. So I mean, Troy's an amazing snowboarder. It's pretty cool. And then we also are about an hour and a half from the Bay Area. So we're
Nice.
really centrally located from a lot of cool places. And so, adventure's just a short car ride for us.
I love it. And you already stated that Californians don't mind driving.
No.
Carly, Carly, what's your backstory? How do you get into the insurance industry at age 19?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds so young now, right? My daughter's 20 and I can't imagine her doing what I did, but it was different, and this is like classic, right? It was different when we were kids, but it was. I mean, my parents were like, "Hey, you're getting a job. You're gonna go to school or pay your way." And so I actually went to Chico State, go Wildcats, and paid my way through school. I had a job and went to school. And one of my first jobs when I was living in Chico was for an Allstate agent named Eric McGuire, and he was amazing. I think that's what like sparked my heart for employees. Eric just kind of treated me like a parent would and took me in, and I gave me so many hours of work, and then told other Allstate agents about my schedule, and they were all kind of friendly, so they plugged me in where they needed help. And that's where I was working for multiple agencies at once and just doing whatever they needed. I don't care. I was like, just give me a paycheck. But was really cool. The best part was I was working for different agency owners for
Yes.
under the same brand, but
Yes.
they all ran their machines different.
Yes.
Every business owner had a different managerial style. They had a different approach to what the company was doing, right? What they thought about the compensation plan or what they should be writing. And they were all in the same town. And so that experience of watching that was really unique. I don't think a lot of people have that opportunity. And I never thought at that point that I would be an agency owner. I just thought that was a part of my journey. I wanted to be a lawyer.
Right.
Um, fast forward to now, and I look back at it and I think, man, I worked for some great people.
Yes.
They treated me really well. And, one of them Eric's still cheering me on Facebook, and it really sparked my love of like employees and helping people have, a journey and opportunity, and really not like holding people down, like you'll work here forever in that same role,
No.
but really like lifting them up, giving them a launching pad if they want one, and just a positive place to work. So yeah.
Shout out to Eric McGuire for giving you that experience, for
Yeah.
giving you the perspective of working in other agencies. Here in New York, I have an inner circle of friends that we used to chat every day about our agencies. But to your point, none of us could cover one day in the other one's agency because we all run it differently.
I
But what I
know.
love about your experience of getting the perspective, the beauty of being an Allstate agent, we're not McDonald's. The
Right.
fries and the burgers don't taste the same everywhere we go. But I would say, and agree or disagree, do you think that early experience of working for multiple agencies is what really gave you the perspective to launch remote labs and be able to help agents no matter how they run their agency?
Yeah, I think what so when I worked through the agents with the agents through college, eventually I call it my past life. I was married. We had a scratch agency. We ran it like mom and pop style. That was really hard. We kind of grinded out that situation. Didn't have a lot of success. Sold it. Unfortunately, I went through a divorce. I ended up buying my ex-father-in-law's book, and it was about 3 million. And I
Okay.
remember I read Grant Cardone, 10X, early in I'm like, I'm not going to do things the way I did it before. That wasn't what I consider success. And, I had a really great FSL for my first run. And I said, my first 6 months I missed bonus. And he said, if you would have written this small amount, you would have made X amount of dollars. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And, I said, just give me the math, man. Just tell me exactly what I have to write per month. And I figured it out. And I went from 3 to 5 million to 10. And now I'm up around 13. I think all of those trials along the way, all of those people who, inspired me, showed me that you can have failure, you can find success again. That has given me that kind of prompted me to start helping agents with remote labs. That happened during COVID. So 2020, I was having a lot of success, and it was during a time that a lot of agents were like, we're not having success. Nobody will come to work. Nobody wants to buy insurance. And at that point, I was a single mom. I just couldn't buy into that.
Yes.
I just could not hear that.
No.
I was like, as soon as COVID hit, I sent my employees home with computers. I said, we're going to do this. We're going to have a great run. And we did. And so agents started to say, hey, what are you doing? How are you making that work? And the first agent just said, hey, I know you have a sales trainer. Can't I just pay you to put my staff in with your sales trainer? And I said, you know what? We can figure that out. And that's how Remote Labs started.
Wow.
Yeah. And so early on, agents were really asking for help. How do I set up remote teams? How do I manage them? How are you doing so well in sales? What's your strategy? And it was like, look, I hire people remotely around the country. I look for talent. I'm not just hiring somebody who has a license. I'm looking for talented people. And my sales trainer and I work together on the business. And that's what drives success. And so through Remote Labs, we've been able to help agents just like that. We work with in-office or remote employees. So, it doesn't matter where they are. But, if agency owners don't have a sales trainer, no matter how big or small your agency, you are the sales trainer. And are you doing a great job? And, in all fairness, there's so many jobs that we do. You can do a lot of jobs and do okay at them, but you cannot be excellent as a sales trainer if you're just kind of sort of doing it. So that's how Remote Labs was born.
No, I love the story. I love that it happened so organically, that you were doing it for yourself and you were approached with, how can I do it? I think COVID forced us all into the hybrid world, and it's one of the blessings in disguise from that period of time. It wasn't what we were looking for, but we learned how to do it. I promise you, I'll share with anyone, I'll tell everyone, my first remote experience was an epic fail, not because of the person, because I wasn't ready to be a remote sales leader yet. And once I got that piece, the rest of it has been easy breezy. So for any agent watching this podcast, listening to it's on the fence about doing it, jump in the game, talk to Carly. She can help. She has a business model that's been perfected for 5 years. I've seen you on the road in Texas. I've been on the road with you in Atlanta, and I know success stories of agents that have used your service, and they have the victories to show from it. So, Carly, beyond your agent experience, a lot of us, how we see insurance are shaped by disasters that hit our area. So, me personally, when a Hurricane Ida hit Middle Village, the Queens area, back in 2021, that inspired me to write my first book, The Property Insurance Bible, Insurance Before Losing Everything. On your bio on your website, you talk about the impact of the car fire. Talk about that fire and how that shaped you.
Wow. I mean, that's a big one. I mean, it just kind of brings some emotion to mind. Man, where to even start? It felt like, and maybe this was my perspective, right? We all have our own thoughts and feelings and perspectives. So this could be incorrect, but it's correct in my mind.
That's all that matters.
Felt like when the car fire hit, that it was the first massive fire that far north of its kind that took out as many homes as it did. And my office was on the west side of town. And, that's where a concentration of my clients were at that time. I mean, we were heavily concentrated in that area. And it wasn't that, at that time, I didn't feel like an insurance agent. I felt like, a neighbor, a member of the
Mhm.
community, a place that we needed to be open every single day of the week until we felt like we got control of what was happening. And so our agency, I can remember driving down through downtown in the middle of the night, like 4 a.m, to go open up my agency. And we were open for 3 weeks straight, 12-hour days. We didn't close. We really became like a beacon for everybody to come to. We had adjusters sitting in our office, and even the head of California came to our agency, and they were cutting checks on the spot. I mean, we had over 50 residents with total losses, and
Wow.
yeah, and hundreds of clients with losses, but 50 of our clients that lost everything they owned. Those types of catastrophes, they're not over in 6 months,
No.
years.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I think we just finished one of our final claims, so it's been years. But our agency, we learned so much from that when the campfire happened in Chico, they called us and say, "Hey, come down and put your process in down here. We need help." And so we immediately went down and worked with them. But man, Allstate did a great job with those claims. They really did. And I was just so thankful that the response time with adjusting the claims and cutting checks and getting our customers served was immediate. So
It's a beautiful thing. All we sell is a promise. We sell recovery plan promises. We promise you if that life falls apart, we'll put you back together again as quickly
right.
as we can. But I think your answer gives great perspective to the wildfires. You said that it's not a 6 month process. It's not a year process. It's years. And that fire, if my memory is correct, that was 2018, correct?
Man, I mean, I can't even recall the year right now, but that sounds about right. I can't believe it's been that long. Really, because for a lot of us, it was so traumatic. It feels like it still just happened a couple of years ago. And really, catastrophes like that is why we're having such an issue with insurance in our state, right? Because
Mhm.
they also say that we've had environmental changes, that it's scientific now. It's not like it used to be that we're actually going to see these types of fires more often. And so it's really something to be prepared for, and to think about as a homeowner.
So, Carly, you talked about you service the entire state of California.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the value of a local agent in the state of California and what are the key coverages that me, with all my experience, if I were to open in California tomorrow, I have zero experience selling earth movement coverage. So, what are those 3 or 4 things someone relocating to California, buying insurance the first time, or someone that makes the mistake of going online and buying the
Oh, yeah.
least expensive policy again? What are the 4 to 5 key things that they're going to forget if they don't tap into the experience of a California-based agent with all the knowledge experience that you have?
Yeah, I mean, let's just say we're talking about a customer who has home and auto in our state, okay?
Mhm.
And they're moving out here to California, or you're an agency owner and you want to talk to a customer about insurance. Um, Liability is a big word in California, right? Um, you know, I don't want to say this about our state, but maybe people are a little bit more willing to sue if they need to. Um, you know, um, yeah, so liability is a big one. In our office, we really make sure we know our client.
Yes.
What do you do for a living and what do you have to protect? The customer is always looking for cheap. What's the
Yes.
cheapest? Give me the cheapest. But in a state like California, when where there's a lot of attorneys with big billboards on the side of the freeway that are ready to sue, right? So protecting what you've worked for through liability insurance is important. If you need to, picking up an umbrella really is helpful. Cheaper is not always better when you're sitting at the table having your claim adjusted, right? And the other one is really knowing what is involved in the homeowner's policy that you're buying, right? Because it's really more like a buffet of choices and less like an all-encompassing plan, right? And not all carriers are created equal. So if you're just going out there to grab something cheap, you might forget something like sewer backup coverage inside of your home, or maybe they have some sort of endorsement on there that has to do with the age of your roof.
Yes.
Or another big one is how far smoke damage can travel during a catastrophe fire. So if your different policies have different restrictions on the length that smoke damage can move and be covered. And a lot of people don't realize how much damage smoke can cause and whether or not their policies will cover it. And so, if you're in these really nice, big, beautiful, homes in Los Angeles canyons, and they're $3 and $4 and $5 million, and you don't have smoke damage coverage, that's a problem.
Carly, that is huge. I'm listening and turning to my right and making notes.
Yeah.
But the thought of distance being tied to smoke damage, I can only imagine how tough those conversations are with customers saying, what do you mean that the smoke, my coverage stops because the smoke traveled 51 miles instead of 50? That has to be a tough conversation.
Yeah, really. So the conversation should start at the beginning, right?
Yes.
When you're buying the policy,
Yes.
not during the claim. So in our agency, we really work hard to offer a review to all of our clients when they're coming up for renewal. And to anybody who's out there who your insurance agent calls you and offers a renewal, call them back and take it.
Yes.
You really don't know what you don't know. And just like I tell my team, there's a reason why we have a license.
Yes.
And our job is to educate everyone, even if they don't want the coverage, right?
I love it. That is a great answer. Well, if anyone doubting the value, if you had any doubts prior to those answers, the doubt has been removed. Carly, let's talk about the community. Not only are you running your agency and remote labs, other business ventures, talk about your involvement in the community. I know you have a leadership role with the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah. For many years, I ran a BNI. I was heavily immersed in the chamber. And actually, one of my key employees and office managers in Reading, Rachel Costa, she has taken on the role of being really involved in the Chamber of Commerce there. She actually was at Chamber this morning. And we sponsor all kinds of stuff through Chamber. So she's really taken on that role. She does it really well. And so, I appreciate that because I did it for many years.
I understand you're speaking to an ex-BNI vet here. I love BNI. I love the philosophy of giver's gain. I love what it does for other business owners. So I absolutely get the seasons in our lives when we do those things and the seasons that we need to pull back. Carly, we've had a wonderful conversation. I always like to give my guests the opportunity to share anything they're working on, anything they want to talk about that I didn't ask about. The floor is yours.
I mean, anything I'm working on, man, I'm always working on so much stuff. One thing I could share is, Troy. So Troy Greenway and we're life partners and business partners. He owns Greenway Growth 360. He does recruiting. I'm the owner and creator of Remote Labs, and we do sales training and consulting. We have partnered together under Agency Growth Solutions. So you'll see us out there branded as one We are under one roof in our household, and so we traveled so many places together. We share employees, and so we have a parent company now called Agency Growth Solutions. So you'll see us out there branded as that. And we also help with agency brokering, so buying and selling businesses. So, if you see that out there, that's us, and we'll see you guys on the road. Like I said, I'm always working on stuff. I can't help it. That's really where I get to kind of flex my creative muscle is through businesses. I started a business last year called CC Liberty Holdings. And, proud to say in 1 year, I started 3 Airbnbs. And so that was an undertaking. I learned so many lessons, Kevin. It was wild.
I saw your Airbnb. You posted about it.
Yeah.
When life takes me to Cali, I'm coming to your Airbnb. It looked awesome.
Yeah, thank you. One thing that I've always loved to do is kind of decorate. And so this piece of my business brain, I get to pick out unique houses. So all 3 of the houses I picked out are super unique. One's a little A-frame cabin, and the other one's a historic house downtown Reading, and it's a 1923 home, and I decorated it to the era. So that's been really cool. I wouldn't say it's the biggest money maker, but it's been, that's a part of the tortoise and the hare. That's definitely the hare or the tortoise. It's a slow mover, but it's been really cool. So I've been working on those 2 things this year, and ready to just take Agency Growth Solutions to the next level here this year as well.
I love it. I love it. I love it. At the end of the day, with all that you do and serving your customers, serving your staff, serving other agencies, how do you wind down at the end of the day?
Oh, wind down at the end of the day. Well, I mean, a couple things. So one is I never had the luxury of learning an instrument as a kid. I played a lot of sports. You can't see it, but I'm like 5'11". And so for the first time as an adult, I picked up piano. So I take piano lessons in the afternoon. So that's kind of a turn off that business brain and turn on my musical brain. So I do that. And I mean it when I say it's barbecue season out here in California. We are out on the patio. Kids are, playing cornhole. So are the adults. We've got badminton out there, and really just good food and good weather with the family. That's it.
Sounds like a California chill vibe to me.
It does.
Carly, thank you so much. You have been an absolutely phenomenal guest. I said we go 30 to 35 minutes. I knew we go in the overtime. We're at 45 minutes, but it's been absolutely phenomenal. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All the best to Troy. All the best to the family, and to everybody that tuned in. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day, whether you watched us live on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, or whether you're listening to this at a later date on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you. Thank you to my sponsors, Canopy Connect, all things digital in your insurance agency. Please reach out. Carol Media, all things social media. Please reach out to Carol Media. And thank you, thank you, thank you to our amazing guest, Carly Pickern, all the way from Redding, California. Give a warm wind down with Kev welcome, and don't forget, hit the subscribe and notifications buttons. Ladies and gentlemen, Carly Pickern.